All right, all right. This is Justin Bondietti, Grant Cardone licensee, coming to you with another great close from Grant Cardone. This close is called the Spouse Stall Close number 2. This is for salespeople to use when they're in the close and they're getting the, hey, I got to talk to my spouse. How do you handle that? Well, Grant Cardone has at least 4 ways to handle, I got to talk to my spouse, my significant other, that sort of thing. All right. Hey, for those of you joining me, I appreciate you jumping on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I appreciate y'all being here. If you have any questions or you want to talk about something different, just throw it in the comments. But I'm going to just jump on here for just a few minutes and give you the Spouse Stall Close number 2, when to use it, how to use it, and what to say. I'll give you verbatim out of the book, and I'll show you which book I use. This is the Closer Survival Guide from Grant Cardone. I highly recommend getting the physical copy. It's got some exercises in here to help you tailor it to your situation, to your company, to make it more you, that sort of thing. But we're going to get into it. I'm going to give you exactly verbatim out of the book, and we'll talk about how to use it, okay? So Spouse Stall Close number 2. This is something that needs to be used with confidence. It needs to be used with speed and in a kind of a lighthearted type presentation, like attitude, okay? Like you're not being like super serious. You know, some people, they say you need to like go monotone with your voice and things like that, or go low with your voice. Look, you want to be upbeat. You want to be positive. You want to create some energy. You want to just kind of joke around with them. And you want to say, you know, they're going to say, hey, I need to talk to my spouse. You're going to say, absolutely. Absolutely. I encourage you to do it. I agree with you. I encourage you to go talk with your spouse. If your spouse is anything like mine, they would want me to do it. They would want me to do it. She says, or I should read out here. She tells me to do something that I love, right? So it says in here, it says, I agree and you should. But if your wife is anything like mine, she never tells me no when I love something. And I never tell her no. I need your approval here and here. So what you're trying to get across is that, hey, if your wife, your spouse, your husband is anything like mine, and they know that I love it and I'm here to get it, they're probably not going to tell me no. So if your spouse is like mine, they're probably going to say, go ahead and make this happen. Go ahead and sign right here and here. So one or two things are going to happen. They're either going to agree with you and say, yeah, absolutely. You know, you're right. You know, my wife, she knew I came down here. She knew I wanted to come down here and buy this anyway. She expects me to come home with it, right? Or they're going to say, no, they want to talk with their spouse. Can't sign right now. Got to go talk with them. Got to think about it. They're going to give you another objection. All right. So again, out of the book, you're saying, hey, all right, let's go ahead and do this. And they're like, you know what? I got to talk to my spouse. And you're going to say, as a salesperson, I agree and you should. But if your wife is anything like mine, she never tells me no when I love something. And I never tell her no. I need your approval here, here, and here. Or however it is you do it, right? How do you want to pay for this? American Express, MasterCard, Visa, right? However you close, however you accept payment. All right, so the homework with this is to take what I said verbatim out of the book and tailor it to your situation, to how you can use it so it's more natural and it feels comfortable to you. It might not feel comfortable at first, but just like anything else, you got to practice. You got to try it. So if you tailor it tonight, you write it down, you figure it out, you maybe go through it once or twice. Tomorrow when you get up and on the way to work, before you get to work, right when you get to work, go ahead and role play it. Ask someone to help you out, role play it a couple times, practice it. If you can't remember verbatim, obviously your first time, anything like that, understand what you're trying to do is you're trying to say, hey, absolutely agree, you should talk with your spouse. You know what? If your spouse is anything like mine, and Grant talks about this, he says, if you have this experience where you've bought things without your spouse, the closer it is to home for you, the easier it is to connect with somebody else on it, right? So if you've ever bought anything without your spouse, right? If your spouse is anything like mine, and they know I love this, they know I want this, they're probably not going to tell me no. Go ahead and sign right here and here, right? So you're just trying to connect with them on that level. So that's the Spouse Stall Close number 2. Now there's more than that. There's 4, and that's because That doesn't always connect with somebody. Somebody might be like, yeah, that's great, but that's not for me. That's not how we operate, right? I still need to talk with my spouse. Absolutely, 100%. So we have other closes. So you got to think about what objection would you get, and what would you do next from that? How would you transition next? Because you're not going to give up. You wouldn't, as a salesperson, you wouldn't be at this point in the close where you're trying to get the final, signature. You're trying to go ahead and get the credit card number. You're trying to close the deal, secure the deal. You're not at this point and just going to give up because they need to talk to their spouse or they need to think about it. Because if they need to talk to their spouse, we can go back to spouse stall 1, which is a great close, and uncover what the real objection is. What is their objection they're not telling you? Because if they're saying, I need to talk to my spouse, there's something they're not telling you. Or another thing we talked about is confidence. How many times do you want to buy something, but you're not sure if it's the right thing? You're not sure. If the salesperson is not confident either, that's not going to help your confidence. If the salesperson's like, yeah, okay, well, what that's going to do is it's going to make me more confident that I should talk to my spouse or that I should not do this right now. If they don't think it's the right call, if they're not willing to say, no, this is the right call. Because, this is what's going to happen if you don't do this, right? You're still going to have the same problem. You're still going to have to think about it. It's still going to be occupying space in your brain. You're still going to have to come back. You're still going to have to figure it out. You're still going to have the same problem. Like, let's solve this problem right now. I mean, does your spouse want this problem solved? Do your spouse want you to be happy, come home happy, and problem solved and taken care of, and you don't got to deal with this anymore? Or do they want to come back and talk about this? Because I'm sure if your wife's anything like mine, we've already talked about this several times. We actually talked about it right before I came down here. Go ahead and give me your signature here and here, please. Okay. So understand how that works. Write down. I encourage you to actually handwrite down what you would say, all the words, not like shorthand, things like that. In the morning, before you go to work, on the way, once you get to work, like practice it a couple times, try to role play with somebody. Get good at using it. I got a question here on Instagram. Appreciate you. S. Wilson. Appreciate you being on here. How do you build that confidence in your offering, especially for medium-sized businesses? Oh, love that question. How do you build confidence? Here's the thing. Now, in your offering, so this word stuck out to me. It says in your offering. So I'm assuming you're not talking about your advertising, your presentation, I guess in the very beginning. I'm trying to understand. I'm wondering if you're talking about when you're writing it up. When you write it up and you say, hey, here it is. Maybe that's what you're talking about. But the confidence comes from this. No matter like where you're at in sales, what you're doing, the confidence comes from you knowing, understanding what their dominant buying motive is, understanding what the benefit is they're looking for. What is it that's solving? Oh, service-based business. Love it. Okay, cleaning. Love to have a cleaning service here in my house. My wife and I have been talking about it. So let's talk about that. That's a service-based business, right? What is it that it actually does for us? Yeah, it cleans our house, right? That's great. But that's not what it does for us. It gives my wife and my kids and me time to do other things. So here's the thing is, if you know that you can solve my dominant buying motive, which is time, and you know that the benefits of your service are exactly what I need. Like you've asked the right questions, you've gone through the sales process properly, you've done the presentation, you've built the value. You as a salesperson are confident that yes, I need my house cleaned, but what I'm really looking for is the time, and you're going to solve that and provide that for me. There should be, like, if you're the right person, if you're the right company, you've got the right support, and of course your service is amazing, you should have confidence. Now, you're not going to have confidence if you're not sure what they really want. If you're not sure, if they're asking you to, clean the house, and you're like, okay, yeah, no, I can make the bathrooms and the living room and the kitchen sparkling. That's great. I know 5 minutes later, because I have a bunch of kids, it's going to be dirty again. That's not really what I care about. What I care about is that we have a sanitary home and it's clean and people can come over and we have visitors and I don't have to think, oh, I got to run home and clean the house, right? But that I have time to enjoy my family. So the service-based business, you're giving people time. You say time is more valuable than money, right? Absolutely, 100%. So that's for me, right? That's for me. And Grant Cardone, we can get into this in another segment, but I'll tell you briefly. Grant Cardone talks about there's 4 things that people buy for. Well, there's one reason people buy, is to solve a problem. But there's 4 things that when you're talking about the dominant buying motive that you're looking for. All right. And he says APES, appearance. All right. They're buying because they want to have a good appearance. No, I buy these clothes because I like to look good. I like dressing like this, right? I like my appearance. Okay. Performance. People buy health products. They work out, they exercise, or they buy cars, or they buy cell phones, or they buy computers for performance. Okay. Like me, I got to have high RAM. I need my processing and everything to work. I need it to work when I need it to work, right? So performance. And then we have economy, right? Like we're thinking about, hey, is this going to improve their economic situation? And a lot of people think that way in sales. That's the first thing they go to. But you got to understand that economy is not always money. Like you said, S. Will S. Wilson. I'm sorry, my screen is so small, I can't see it very well. I apologize for that. But time is more valuable than money. So for me, I value my time greatly. So economy to me is money, but it's also time. All right. And then also we have the safety and security aspect. People buy to feel safe, financially safe, physically safe, virtually safe. Their family is safe. Things like that. Okay. So those are the things we're looking for. If we know that we're solving which one, and it could be multiple, but usually dominant buying motive is singular. There is one specific piece that you're trying to understand. And we can get into that. I'll do some fact finding discovery stuff. We can talk about that. But if you have further questions on that, reach out, DM me, put a comment in there. I'll respond, help out any way I can. I love this stuff. But that's how you build confidence. So when we're talking about confidence in closing a deal, I'm closing a deal because I, the salesperson, am confident that not only is this the right service or product for this person, because it is going to solve their dominant buying motive as soon as they say yes and they buy the dang thing, right? And we get started helping them. But I am the right person. I'm going to bring the value. Like I know I'm a good, ethical person. I'm not trying to swindle nobody. I'm not trying to just, get a big paycheck or anything like that. Like I genuinely want to help people, right? So I'm a good person. I'm the guy to do business with or gal, right? The third thing is the company. You have trust and confidence in your company and the support that it's going to provide. All right. That's how you have confidence in the deal. All right, y'all. I'm Justin Bondietti, and I was coming to you, just giving you the spouse stall close number 2. And I appreciate y'all jumping on here. It is 5:18 p.m. on the eastern seaboard of the United States of America. And I'll be signing off tonight and doing some other things. We've got some mentoring calls. The Grant Cardone mentoring call is on right now. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but there's a mentoring call that Grant Cardone does every Thursday night. You should Google Grant Cardone and give his people a call and check it out. It's pretty phenomenal. And then also too, I'm a Grant Cardone licensee, and a bunch of us get together tonight on Thursday evenings and chat. And we have our coaching call tomorrow. So that's what we'll be doing. I'll be back on at planning on 6:45 in the morning. I'm gonna come on 6:45 tomorrow morning and give you all some objection handling. If anybody has a specific objection they want to discuss or want me to talk about, throw it in the chat or send it to me, something like that. I'll throw it on there. But that's what we'll be doing. All right. Till tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.